Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Popcorn Podcast. I'm Tommy, and this is I just practiced this too. Which one is this? This is episode 8 of my solo episodes I do of the show, where I just talk about what's going on in my life, what the podcast has been up to outside of just the recording sessions for the show, and everything in between. But this week's episode is going to be a Letterboxd breakdown of what I've been watching recently, and then just talk about, again, what's been going on in my life specifically, and then what me and Ryan have been up to behind the scenes of the show. So starting off with what we've been up to is, if you couldn't tell, we've been doing a lot of interviews more recently, a lot less of just the sit-down episodes, and I do promise those episodes are going to continue. We are going to continue doing just me and Ryan talking, what got the show to where it is. That will never change. We will always do our one-on-one movie reviews, just sit down, talk, have a good time, laugh. Just we're trying as hard as we can to continue to show that we are just more than two friends that are just sitting down giving their opinions. We actually do know what we're talking about a little bit, and that we want to work in this industry. This isn't a short-term thing. This is something I know me and Ryan talked about before. Want to do for the rest of our lives is make film, continue working in film, and everything in between. Getting to interview these guests is just a way for us to network and continue to talk. And yeah, gives us some credibility with everyone, because just being a small film podcast doesn't really get you the the budgets to make films. It's more getting to do these interviews, which helps us meet more people, helps us grow our network, lets us get to talk to agents and everything else. So yeah, we've been doing interviews. I had Mika Abdallah, Malcolm Goodwin. We just had Ernie Hudson on, which was really cool. We've talked to Dane DeRito in the past, Nate Lip, Jake Bradbury, Emmy-nominated producers on different projects. And yeah, anyone in between, William Spencer, Raiders, friends of ours that do another film podcast, International Spider-Man. We've talked to a lot of great people, and we continue to love doing the show, and we love getting to meet all these different people. We love getting to interact with you guys who want to sit down and want to DM us and give us your opinions on things, which makes our day that you guys care enough to want to reach out and talk about movies with us. But yeah, some cool news. Our short film is coming out in 2 weeks now? Yeah, drop in 2 weeks, which we're very excited for. The Weight We Carry. And it will drop on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere you can find videos. You're gonna find this. It's something very special to me. I've talked about it. I'm not gonna bore you guys with the details of why the movie was made, why we decided to make that. But yeah, it comes out in 2 weeks. We're very excited. I'm very excited. I'm also very nervous for people to finally see something that was so personal to me and to Ryan. What else? Oh, something really cool that's moving forward finally that I've been working on, but I wasn't sure if I was ever going to get the chance to actually do it. And it seems like I am going to actually get the opportunity. I'm going to be directing my own short film, and Ryan, again, is working on this with me. But this is my project that Ryan is one of the writers on with me. But this is my project to direct. It's something I've been working on and I've been wanting to make. And after the little circuit with the short film and film festivals, I think we've gotten enough quote unquote credibility that I think I can do this one. So we are, I have a short film called Alone that I've been working on. It's more in it's still in pre-production at this point. We're still working on the script, the storyboard. First draft of the storyboard is complete. I have what the synopsis is. I have the ideas. I have the shots planned out. I have something right here. Excuse me. But yeah, it's something super exciting that I took a lot of inspiration from a lot of other projects to make this one, but I want to blend different genres, subgenres of horror into this, because it is going to be a horror short film. Very minimal dialogue. It is very much the character itself is the environment. It's the house. Is a character in itself. Lighting is a character in itself. Sounds are characters. It's it's about a home intruder incident in a house, and I don't know if it's going to be a guy or a girl who owns the house, but they're gonna have someone break into the house, and that's all I really want to say so far. But there's a lot of cool shots that we've been planning out, and we're going to be doing some test footage for it, make sure that we can get all the shots done the way I want the shots to look. Because not that the crew that we worked with on the last short film wasn't great, and I was very happy to work with them. It very much at certain points felt like it wasn't Ryan and I's movie. It felt like it was their movie, and me and Ryan had just worked on it. But this one is very much my film that I'm going to direct, and I have very specific ideas. There's certain shots I know that need to be in the project. And yeah, I'm very excited to make this. I think it's going to be creepy because I've had this thought. It's because it's dreams I've had, it's thoughts I've had being home alone, and all these different kind of things. So yeah, it's going to be really fun. I think I'm going to vlog a lot more of this one. I'm going to talk about it a lot more when we go into writing. I'll start taking pictures behind the scenes of the writers' rooms that we're working on, because it's me, Ryan, and our buddy Ian. We've all wanted to make this horror project. So the writing process, I think, is going to be a lot of fun for us to get to just work together and plan something out that I think is going to be really, really fun. And it's not going to be very long. It's going to be another short, very micro-budgeted short. But yeah, I'll eventually put out a crowdfund, GoFundMe, and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, we can get some money, maybe enough that we can sell it somewhere, ship it somewhere that more people can see it than just on YouTube and Spotify. Not Spotify, TikTok, Instagram. But yeah, as of right now, the working title is Alone. It's probably going to change like they always do. But yeah, I'm very excited to move forward with this project. We've been looking into crews that we're going to work with. And yeah, there's only 3 characters in the entire thing, so I think it's going to be really cool. And I'm very excited to start working on it. I think we have a writer's room, not today. Today is the 9th, just so everyone knows. It's the 11th. We're going to work on it a little bit. We're going to a little bit of a writer's room for it. We're very excited. And yeah, and of course, I said I'm going to give updates. I'm going to be a lot more all over social media about this one, actually posting about it, talking about it, and trying to get the word out there as much as possible. But moving on from personal life, going into why we actually do the shows is to talk about movies. And just want to talk a little bit about my Letterboxd, what I've been watching recently. I've went down a little bit of a rabbit hole of horror. I don't think I reviewed my most recent. I did not. Hold on. Nope, wrong one. Well, the first thing I watched, I'm going to repeat one that I talked about last time, but we'll get to that when I get there. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Me and Ryan watched it before we talked to Ernie, because we had to, of course, watch it. And I thought this was one of those movies that it's not bad, but you also were wondering why it had to get made. It didn't seem like people wanted to be there sometimes. It was very much they were phoning in the performances, phoning in the direction, phoning in the visual effects. It didn't feel like it had the same amount of love that Afterlife has, and the first one has, and even the second one, which I know a lot of people don't love, but I do. It felt like it just doesn't have the love that those ones had. But yeah, it wasn't a horrible movie. I think it was probably like a 2 stars out of 5 for me. And then just seeing the original gang come all back together and be Ghostbusters together gave it a whole star up. So it went up to 3 stars. So I had it at 3 out of 5, which not great, but it's definitely not a bad movie. If you like Ghostbusters, you're gonna like it. The final hour, I think people who love the franchise will really be happy again with what they do. Moving forward with that is something I'm seeing again tonight, because Ryan hasn't seen it yet, so I'm going to watch it with Ryan this time. And this is Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire. We're going to do a full feature-length episode on later this week, but just my quick thoughts is that we all know what this film is. It's a fun kaiju monster movie with Godzilla and Kong. That's fun. It's a fun time. There's nothing wrong with that. And I actually think this has some of the best human stuff we've seen out of the MonsterVerse, like the human storylines, and I actually cared what was going on. I didn't hate the entire time. But again, it's still weak. It's not great characters or anything like that. But Brian Tyree Henry and who else? What's the other guy's name? Oh no, I'm forgetting. Yeah, Dan Stevens as Trapper. 2 great castings. Of course, Rebecca Hall is always great. I love her. But yeah, I thought they did a lot better this time with the human characters. I thought there was a little bit more to them. And you actually weren't just like, oh my God, can we get back to the monsters? Don't get me wrong. Monsters are the best part of this movie. And Yeah, I had a good time with it. Again, I have it at 3 out of 5. It's not perfect. It's not great. It's not going to change. Not reinventing the wheel or anything like that. But no, it's a fun time. It's a perfect popcorn and slushy film. Moving on from that, a movie I had already talked about, and this was Immaculate. I gave kind of a full breakdown on it last time. Just again, quickly, I gave it 3.5 stars. I said Sydney, and my review this time, because I didn't give a full, like my synopsis I gave on my Letterboxd, is I said Sydney Sweeney is a star. The film was really interesting. I did enjoy it. It definitely takes some twists and turns along the way, some for good and some for worse. However, this was not my favorite horror movie about an orphaned girl from America who goes over to Italy and has a conception there, who is also at a. It's not my favorite movie that I saw in the last 2 weeks about an orphaned girl from America, moves to Italy, has conceives a baby ends up being the Antichrist all at once. I don't know how many movies you see like that, but the fact that I saw two in the span of 14 days is pretty funny to me. Um, Yeah, I and of course they live. It's all with nuns. But Immaculate was good. It was better than I thought it was going to be. It was actually I'm not gonna lie, it might actually be a little bit worse than what I thought it was going to be. Now looking back on it after everything, and a movie. The next movie I'm going to talk about is a movie that I didn't think was going to be good. Me and Ryan actually talked badly on the podcast, and ends up and now it's probably closer to the top of my favorite movies so far this year. And that's The First Omen. As I said, I've been shitting on this movie since the first trailer came out. I did not think it looked good. And I was wrong. This was a really well-made horror film. Left me so uneasy leaving the theater the entire time I was in the theater. Me and my buddy who went and saw, we both agreed that it felt like the way they did the audio was so well done because we sat right in the middle of the theater. It would sound like people were talking behind you, from the sides. All that was really well done. It had great tension and scares along the way. It didn't over the top with jump scares, but did enough that you didn't feel like, oh, here comes another jump scare. The jump scares have worked because they're effective and they were actually well done. They built up the tension. Nell Tiger Free was fantastic as the lead Margaret. I think the only negative I have for the entire movie, of course, like every time I watch a horror movie, sometimes they show something that they didn't need to show because it doesn't fit in the budget, but they didn't do it enough that it ruined the movie. Like a lot of like Boogeyman did it badly. Imaginary kind of actually did it pretty well that they didn't force it. But sometimes they overuse a monster or a creature and they just show too much of it when they don't have the budget for it. But yeah, there's that, and then the other small negative is that, of course, this is a prequel to the original horror classic, The Omen. And if you've seen the original Omen, you of course know the outcome of what's going to happen in this one. And so it does have to follow a certain storyline, it has to go a certain way. Unless they're going to redo that, which they weren't. This is just a prequel to the original. It was actually really well done prequel in my opinion, because you kind of forget about the Omen sometimes, and then you're like, oh, this is the prequel to the original. So it did have to follow some of the beats, but I still really enjoyed myself, and I do think this is in that top. It's in the top echelon of horror movies in the 2020s so far. Probably even since 2000. I think this still holds up against a lot of horror movies. I think Talk to Me's up there. This is up there. In my opinion, Skinamarink, which is such a different type of horror movie. So I really like The First Omen. It's not going to be for everyone though. I think certain people are going to have issues with some of the visuals that they do use, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. That's what I'll say. And then the last movie I want to talk about is one I saw yesterday. Thanks to Regal for sending me a private screening, actually, of it. And that was a film that's actually come out a little bit ago, but I'm finally just getting around to watching it. And this is Late Night with the Devil, the Daniel Dalsmauchen's new film. And I want to pull up the actual film so I don't get anything wrong. Yeah, this was directed by Cameron Cairns and Colin Cairns. It's about a live TV event that shocked the nation in 1977. Jack Delroy, he's pretty much a late night show host. He is a late night show host, but he's never able to pass Johnny Carson's. If you don't know, Johnny Carson's is considered the greatest late night show host of all time. And he decides for this Halloween event, because he's finally starting to lose traction, he he decides to do like this Halloween special, and a bunch of horrible things happen. Evil's pretty much released, and it's David Dalsmouch, right? Yeah, David. I'll make sure I can say it wrong. David Dalsmouch plays the lead Jack Delroy. It's his first ever leading role, and he is fantastic. But he is not why I have problems with this movie. The movie is so well done. I had an amazing time watching it. I was so happy with it. I think, again, like a lot of horror movies, sometimes they just go a bit too far with some ideas of theirs. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had this at like a 5. 5 out of 5. And then something happened, brought me down to like a 4.5. Of course, it's a horror movie. Things are going to happen. It's not going to be a perfect movie normally. But it just, they went too big for an ending for something that was so small scaled for the most part. I feel like there was a better way to do the ending. The final 15 minutes take it from a 5-star probably for me down to a 4-star, which isn't that far. But in Letterboxd, there's a half star in between, so it did come down 2 whole scores for me. Yeah, which was annoying because it was something I really did enjoy. I think the first it's an hour and 30 minutes, so an hour and 15 minutes of it are perfect. The last 15 are not. Last 15 minutes are like a 70. The first hour and 15 minutes are a 90. 92. It's really well done. I really loved it. I just think it lost some steam at the end. And nothing horrible. I know certain people have issues. People have definitely shared their issues with the ending. And people, of course, are talking about the AI that was used on this project. I don't think it was that big of a deal. It's not like they're doing everything AI. There's just small things. And that's part of evolution in technology. There was things that we never thought were going to be done with film years ago that are now being done. Visual effects, green screen, blue screens, all that kind of stuff. No one thought that was going to be done, but now it is. De-aging, all these different things. So it all comes with change. And I know every time there's change, there's going to be backlash. But I didn't think it was that big of a deal to use some AI. And yeah, Late Night with the Devil, I'm still going to have it at a 4 stars. I think David Dalsmouch and Laura Gordon as Dr. June was really good. What's the young girl's name? Ingrid Torelli. She plays Lily. She was fantastic. Young girl, played a great key character in the project. Yeah, I really liked her. Ian Bliss as Carmichael Haig. Reese Artur as Gus. There was just a lot of really well played character actors in this project. So yeah, I really liked it. I hope David Dalsmouch, this shows that he can be the leading man of a project, because I love David. I've had the honor of talking to David through some emails before, and he was nothing but nice to us. And hopefully we can still figure out a way to have him on the show, because I would love to talk to David just about his filmography. Because if you look at his filmography, it's incredible. Even though he wasn't the leading man in these projects, he has such pivotal characters in all of them. So yeah, I'm super excited to see him hopefully get more leading roles after that project. And yeah, that's all I really had to talk about today. We talked about the short film. We talked about the new short film I'm working on. I have a couple auditions, and I'm working to try and get on some crews right now. So hopefully, if the podcast keeps doing well, it gives me an opportunity to get my name out there, join other crews, do anything possible. So yeah, it was just a quick little short episode again. That's what the whole Tommy's Corner episodes are about. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back later this week to talk about Monkey Man and Godzilla. I think we are talking about Monkey Man. But yeah, I have nothing else to say. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. The Popcorn Podcast is for all of them. And yeah, thank you guys for the continued support. And make sure to follow me on Letterboxd. I think it's just Tommy_Cresta. Just Tommy Cresta. Cresta. Yeah, check me out. Please keep messaging us on Instagram. I love hearing from you guys. _popcorn_podcast or Tommy_Cresta. You can DM me. I'd love to talk to all of you about film and anything else. I'd love if you guys want to work on one of the short films, on the short film I'm working on, please. I'm open to taking people's applications. I would love to meet you guys, talk to you guys. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you later.